Oops, forgot my eye care. So one thing I've really battled here, and you probably battle with it too, is weeds. And I mean, it's not surprising because this is the field behind me. Now, obviously, this is one of my rewilded fields, so we don't touch it and we just let nature do its thing. But it means that all of these weed seeds just fly straight in to the market garden. But then it doesn't help either that this bit of the market garden is being used, and this bit where I'm extending it down to is also full of weeds dropping their seeds. So this year I need to stay on top of the weeds within the market garden more, and that means keeping this bit nice and trimmed so things don't get the chance to come up, flower and seed. These glasses, by the way, are brilliant. They are from Tool Freak. There's links to them in the description. This is kind of just the standard one, but they do a more safety conscious one that has more wrap around the side. But they've been invaluable for protecting my eyes. So one thing I have finally given into is a petrol strimmer. So I just picked this up from SGS, and so far I'm finding it really good. In the past, I really hadn't wanted to use petrol, A, for the environmental concerns, and B, because of the noise pollution. Because actually, when you're using your rechargeable battery power tool, you can, it's quieter, it's easier to do, and you can get some sort of respite from the fact that you're plugging it in and it's charging. And eventually in the future I wanted to do it as solar, so I could use the sun to charge all my instruments. However, I went through 3 Bosch strimmers last year. They were really bad, they just couldn't cut it, and so finally, to get the job done, I've moved to this bad boy. It is making the task much easier, I do have to say. It's louder, it's more obnoxious, but if I can get a job done quicker and it's more reliable to use, then it's kind of a no-brainer, because yes, I want to help the environment, but yes, I also need to use my time efficiently to run this business. I've run out of petrol. That's typical, isn't it? Why does it always happen? Why do you always get halfway through a job and then something happens? Like we were fencing the other day. Halfway through the job, ran out of fencing staples. Bum. I'll have to go and buy some more petrol. I guess that's the only downside. But I mean, it's clearer. And it's taken me 20 minutes maybe just to quickly do this bit, maybe even less. And so I think in the long run, if I can stay on top of the weeds at this end especially, to prevent weed season blowing in, because I think that was the major issue last year, we might have some luck. I'm being watched. Oh, hello. Hi. I've got 2 super sick goats again. So this time they are being quarantined in this pig ark. It's not looking good for one of them. I'm just waiting for some results to come back before I actually talk through the main problem with you. I think I have worked out what the issue is. But as I say, until I have some results, I won't go into it much further. But yeah, as you know, I've had major issues with goats over the past couple of years, and I finally think I've worked out what the problem is. There still isn't a vast amount going on in the market garden again, so that's why I can kind of get on with sort of other infrastructure projects. But the garlic and the onions are in, as I said. So here are some onions and here are some garlic. And then yes, this was my carrot bed. Yesterday a friend was up, so we pulled out all the remainder of the old carrots. We fed them to the pigs. So this row is going to be garlic as well. It's a bit drizzly today, so I'm going to wait till it's a bit non-drizzly, drier or more frozen. And then I'm just going to rake this over, clear out some of the weeds at the bottom, and then this will be a garlic bed as well. One thing I'm interested with the garlic is I had so many cloves left over from last year, and I'd left them in the garden. So I had lots of things like this, which was an old clove that started to grow. However, I still did my my garlic clove order. So in fact, this entire bed is of last year's own grown seed crop. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the seed crop. It's the same variety, it's Cledor, but I'm going to put in the same variety this side that I've bought in. And I'm just going to see if there's any difference. There may be none. There may be a little bit, because of course these have grown on this site, so they're now used to the site. They've also, because they've been I left them on the soil, they have already started to sprout, so they're kind of a bit ahead. This one's been pulled up by something. So we will see how we go. The other funny thing with the onions is where the ground is hard, they've started to root, but the roots haven't been able to push in, so they've actually pushed themselves, look, they've pushed themselves out of the ground, because I mean it's not frozen today, so it's a bit easier. But look at the ones down here, these little shallots. They've got their root systems, and it was frozen, so it's pushed them out of the ground. So I'm going to have to come in and like replant a lot of these. But it's good to see things growing, to be honest, especially when it's the end of January. Actually, you can see down here, this is a load of garlic that I pulled up last year. And I'd left it in the ground too long, so the bases had rotted a little bit, so I couldn't store it. And look, it's all coming out. Now this is completely usable. You can break this up and use all these cloves. There's loads. I'm going to give some of it away to some friends. So yeah, I may have overdone it with my my garlic clove crop for this year. It's still super cold, but it's funny how the smallest hint of change in the air just makes you know spring is on the way. And it changes what the animals are doing as well. Like the pheasants here in the pheasantry have already begun to alter their behaviour and are starting to display more, and just show those kind of those small little characteristics of spring. The first snowdrops are also starting to appear, which is really, really nice. I've got several clumps around here, and then along this ditchway I've planted lots of daffodils and crocus over the years. And look, here the crocus are starting to appear, and daffs, and then along here we've even got some colour. So it's rather exciting that spring is coming. I must admit, I haven't been able to keep my hands to myself, and I have begun the first market garden sowing of spring onions and of lettuce. They're currently not outside, they're currently inside at home in trays, under grow lights. But I'm hoping that they'll harden off in time now I've got the polytunnel, that I can kind of slowly harden them off once they've germinated and get some nice early crop into the garden, because I just can't wait at the moment to make this full and thriving. And actually from this view you can already see actually what a sort of an impact the strimming has made. You can see where I've strimmed and where I haven't. And so I think if I can stay on top of that strimming inside the market garden, keep this area more tidy as well, because this is all complete mess. These need to be repaired and moved into the barn, but keep this trimmed down as well. And then hopefully I'm always gonna have some influx of weed seed, but if I can just reduce it as much as possible, hopefully 2023 will be the year where I have a pretty looking market garden instead of one filled with weeds. This row of wallflowers in the flower farm as well is really starting to come into itself, and you can see we're starting to get shoots shooting away, and this is what's going to have flowers on top. And actually if you look here, there's actually a tiny bit of colour coming through already, which is great in some ways but not in others, because I've got nothing else to sell or make bouquets with, so I don't want them all to go to flower too quickly, otherwise it'll just be bunches of wallflowers for people. I say that, however, and this is my patch of ranunculus. Some were left in from last year and some have just been bought in brand new, sprouted in the polytunnel and then transplanted out. And the ones from last year, given that it's January 25th, the ones from last year have only got buds on them. Like, what on earth? What on earth? What's going on there? We'll see what happens.